Just a big baby. Oh my gosh. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel Plant Pause, where we hang out and talk about all things cats and plants. Me and Stella thought it'd be fun today to do a cat-friendly plant video along with some tips and tricks to help both your cats and plants get along. Right, Stilfer? Yes. Okay, we are here at my kitchen counter and I am surrounded with plants. In the beginning, when I was doing a lot more plant shopping, I would always Google whether the plant that I was interested in was pet friendly or not, along with obviously the care, because every plant is different with their care that they require. But it was always a big thing for me to make sure that it's pet friendly. Some of them, even if they weren't pet friendly, I would still get, but then you have to take into account that they need to be somewhere where they're not attainable to your pets. Which is doable and we'll talk about later. But for now, I just wanted to share some plants that maybe you haven't heard of before that are personally some of my favorites. Some of them are super easy care and some of them are a little bit more finicky, so I'll make sure to include that when I show you guys. I will link down below the link to the ASPCAveterinary.org website. They have a list of both toxic and non-toxic plants, so actually I think indoor and outdoor as well. So if you guys are curious about a certain type of plant or you want to get a certain kind but you're not sure if it's toxic or non-toxic, it's a super good resource to use, so I will link it below so you guys can use it. Okay, this is the first one I wanted to start out with. This is my Calathea warshawixii. I think that's how you say it. It's a little hard to pronounce, but this is probably one of my all-time favorite Calatheas. They are just beautiful, especially when they get big and bushy. They have the softest, most silky leaves on the back of the leaves here. And it is also known as a prayer plant, so if you're not sure what that means, prayer plants have a cool thing that they do where during the day they will go a little flatter and spread their leaves out so they can get sun rays and photosynthesize, and then at night they will raise their leaves upwards more because in their natural habitat in the rainforest, that's how they would catch water. I'm sure you've probably seen some time lapses of prayer plants going up and down during the night and day. It's pretty fascinating to see. I would say that it is a little bit more of a finicky type care if you're not used to Calatheas. They are a little bit more, I wouldn't say high maintenance, but they're a little harder for beginners. So if you do your research though, they're pretty easy to get down and take care of. The next one on my list is a money tree. I have it sitting on a plant stand right now, kind of doubling as a cat water station. This is it. This is my money tree. It is also a non-toxic, pet-friendly plant, and it is super easy care. I think I water this one probably, I don't know, every 3 weeks or so. It holds water in the stem here, so you really don't need to water it all that often. I think I got this one about a year ago and it's just been doing nothing but growing for me and been super low maintenance. Money trees you can find at pretty much any plant store or nursery, but also you can find them in big box stores like Lowe's and Home Depot. I've seen some really big ones and sometimes they have the stems braided here, which is pretty cool looking. But yeah, this one's just super low maintenance. I highly recommend to anyone that just wants a little tree in their house to add some greenery. And yeah, like I said, it's non-toxic. So highly recommend the money tree. The next one I have to show you guys is my Ponytail palm, and I love it so much. I ended up getting one that was already big, but you can find them in smaller sizes as well. I will insert some footage for you guys because it is massive and I don't want to pick it up. But it does just kind of look like a big cat toy. So that is one thing to keep in mind if you get a Ponytail palm. They can be a little more tempting for pets to play with or chew on. But I do highly recommend this plant as it is super low maintenance, easy care, and non-toxic. This next one is a genus, and it is Hoya, and I love Hoya so much. It is just such a cool, diverse genus that has something for everyone. I have 3 here to share with you guys, but I do have a lot more. I'm thinking later on I'll do a Hoya collection so I can share with you guys, but that's for later on. I have a few here that I want to share with you guys. And I made sure to purposely grab 3 of them that are just very different in like the type of leaf so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. so you can have a little bit of a variety. Okay, this big one here on a trellis is my Hoya pubicalyx, and it is one of my favorites. I've had this for a while now, and it's just been so easy care. Really, all Hoya are pretty low maintenance and easy care. They have very thick leaves, and so they can go pretty long in between waterings, and so it just makes it a really easy care plant. I love this one. There's something about Hoyas on a trellis that just does something for me. I just love it. But yeah, it just looks so majestic, and it's just a great centerpiece in your house. So yeah, definitely highly recommend. This is the Hoya pubicalyx. And then I have a completely different type of Hoya. Very, very different leaves than the one I showed you. This is a Hoya Bella, and as you can see, it just has delicate, cute little green leaves, and it is trailing in this little pot that I have hanging in my kitchen window with some of my other Hoyas. But this is one of my favorites as well. It's just so delicate and cute. And then last but not least, with the Hoya variety, I have a Hoya Macrophylla variegata. I just picked this one up not that long ago. I think it was like a week and a half ago. I just loved how the margins are variegated and the texture of the leaf is just so cool. As you can see, Hoya just has so much variety to them, and they're just, I think there's like 200 to 300 different species of Hoya. And like I said, they're all non-toxic and pet friendly. So it's just a really great genus to have in your household if you have pets. Okay. The next one I have on my list is a crocodile fern. It is just so cool looking, guys. Look at the texture. I can see why they call it a crocodile fern, because it literally looks like crocodile scales, which I just think is so cool. Nature's cool. Like, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me. This is a type of fern that is non-toxic and pet friendly, but keep in mind, not all ferns are non-toxic. So just make sure you do your research if you're planning on bringing a fern into your household. This is just one example of a non-toxic one. Just a little sneak peek, I do have plans for this crocodile fern. I was thinking about mounting it, so I might do that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But yes, crocodile fern, so cool. I honestly am not the best at keeping ferns happy. Ferns that have more delicate leaves on them, like the Boston fern or asparagus fern, which I actually have behind me right there. Those ones are a little bit more finicky, so I definitely would recommend, if you're just starting out with ferns, maybe starting with one of these guys. It's a little more hardy and easy to care for. So yeah, I recommend this guy very much. He's just so cool to look at. Okay, I got two fun ones here that are next on my list. These both are tropical cactuses. This one is a rickrack cactus, and this is a mistletoe cactus. So both types of cacti, but like I said, they're tropical, so they do prefer a little bit more watering than the typical cactus. But these are super easy care, so low maintenance, and they're just so fun. Like, look at this guy. He just has like squiggly leaves. They do have little like hair fibers on them that can be a little pokey, so that's one thing to keep in mind with this one, but they're just so funky looking. I love it. I've seen people have like big hanging baskets of rickrack cactus, and I just think it looks so cool. So that's kind of my goal with this guy. And then the mistletoe cactus here. He just looks like he's got crazy hair. He's just super cool. I love feeling the leaves. They just feel so like satisfying. Obviously this one, much like the ponytail palm, kind of looks like a cat toy too, so it would probably be a little tempting to cats and or dogs. And so that is just one thing to keep in mind with this guy. I do have it up higher so my cats don't really ever see this one anyway, so I haven't had any issues with that. But the cool thing is both of these are pet friendly and non-toxic. But yeah, they're both very cute and whimsical jungle cactuses that are super easy to care for. So I highly recommend those guys. The next one on my list is yet another genus, and it is Peperomia. When I first got into plants, I loved Peperomia, and I still do. Much like the Hoya, they are all just very different and unique from each other, but Peperomia has, I think, like 1,000 species. There are just so many. And typically with Peperomia, they are a little more compact. They're usually more small in size, and so they're perfect if you have pets in your household, but maybe you don't have a whole lot of room. This is a good option for you. I have 2 to share here. I think I own like 4 total right now, but this little guy here is a Peperomia scandens. Just a cute little trailing classic green leaf. And I think there's a variegated version of the Peperomia scandens too, and it's really cool looking. Typically with Peperomia, they can dry out between watering, so they're just really easy care and low maintenance that way. Another Peperomia that is one of my absolute favorites is my Peperomia Hope. I got this one probably about a year ago, and it was trailing, I think, just down to here. It has obviously just blown up. I have it in a south-facing window right now, and it loves it there. This is another one that I water like, my gosh, probably like every 3 to 4 weeks. They have kind of succulent type leaves, and they're pretty easy to tell when it's thirsty because they get a little bit wrinkly looking, and you can typically feel the leaves, they'll get a little softer. One thing I really love about this one is that the leaves grow in 3s, if you can see that. And it's just constantly putting out new leaves all the time for me. It's just so cute. So little guys. But yes, this Peperomia Hope is super easy care. You can also get this in a smaller size if you didn't want a big one like this. They have smaller ones like this size as well. And they're just super cute. I love the little round leaves. So yeah, the whole Peperomia genera I highly recommend trying out if you haven't already, because they are all non-toxic and pet friendly. So I highly recommend Peperomia as well. All right, this next one on my list is Maranta. It is also the whole genus that I am talking about here, not just one, but the whole genera of Maranta is non-toxic and pet friendly. They just have stunning foliage. I love it so much. This is also considered a prayer plant as well. The time lapses that I mentioned earlier about the leaves going up and down, this one's a lot easier to tell with that because the leaves are a lot smaller and not as heavy as the Calathea Warshawixii leaves. This one is pretty easy care for me. It's constantly putting out new leaves, as you can see here. This one likes to stay a little bit more moist than others, so I think it is considered more of a intermediate type care plant, but they're really not bad. And once you get the care down on these guys, they're really easy. But yeah, this one is also pet friendly and non-toxic. And then next on my list is an African violet. I do not have that one in my collection, but I will post a picture of it so you guys can see what it looks like. But for you guys that like and enjoy flowering plants, the African violet is perfect. From what I've seen, the African violets put out gorgeous flowers that range from blue, purple, white, pink, and they have just gorgeous dark leaves that just contrast with the flowers so pretty. It is considered a little bit more of a finicky plant as well. They like to stay moist, so if you're somebody that underwaters like I do, they can be a little bit more challenging. What I've learned is that any leaves that have fuzzy leaves on them or like little hairs, they don't like to have water sitting on them, so it's always best to bottom water those types of plants. So the African violet is an excellent choice if you want a plant that also gives you blooms. It is super satisfying when that happens. It's a really good option for pet-friendly and non-toxic flowering plants in your house. Number 10 on my list is a Pilea peperomioides. I don't have one of those in my collection right now, but I will post a picture of it so you guys can see what it looks like. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's pretty common. Pilea peperomioides is non-toxic. It is also called the Chinese money plant or friendship plant. What's really cool about these little plants is they put out offshoots, like little baby plants on the sides of the plant. And I've heard that part of the reason why they're called friendship plants is because when they put out those little offshoots, you're supposed to take those and plant them and share them with friends. It's just a cute little low maintenance plant that you can share with friends if you'd like, and it's non-toxic. So yeah, I thought that was a cool option for a pet-friendly plant. Okay, that was 10 plants, but I'm gonna add in a little bonus. This little guy here is a Zebra Haworthia. It is a type of succulent. I realized I didn't really have many succulents on my list at all. I think this was one of my very first succulents I have ever gotten, and I was terrified because in the beginning of my plant journey, I overwatered all the time. And surprisingly, I didn't kill it. But this guy's super hardy. I probably water him like every 3 to 4 weeks. But yeah, it's just a super cute little succulent. And this one as well will put off little babies and offshoots. But yeah, super cute little succulent. It's super low maintenance and of course is pet friendly and non-toxic. To finish off the video, I wanted to go over some tips and tricks that I think might be helpful for people out there who might be having any difficulties getting their cats and plants to get along. The question that I get a lot is just the basic, how do you keep your cats from playing or chewing on your plants? Part of it is a lot of my cats are already just so good. I got kind of lucky about them just leaving them alone, and most of them just really aren't very interested in my plants. So I definitely got lucky there. But some advice that I would give is if you can and you have the option, start young with them. So if you're thinking about getting a kitten maybe and you already have some plants in the house, if you can start young with them and you can kind of train them as they grow up, you can kind of train them to coexist with the plants from a young age, and that helps a little bit, making it easier for them to adjust. I know typically with a kitten, they're learning a lot of things anyway, so that's just another thing that they'll learn to do, is to leave the plants alone. Persistence and patience is key with any plants and cats, or really cats in general, and training them to do anything. So if your cat is showing interest in, let's say you have a big old ponytail palm like I do, and your cat just constantly is trying to bat at it or chew on the leaves, what I have found works with me and my cats is just saying no in a stern voice and then distracting them with something that they can play with. So once you tell them no, move their attention to something else. Give them a toy and they'll be interested in that instead. Always just say no and redirect their attention to something that they can play with. And then of course, reward their good behavior. So if you see your cat walking towards the ponytail palm and they just kind of look at it, or they rub against it or something and they walk away and they don't chew on it or play with it, give them a good pet. Tell them good job, give them a treat maybe if you have them. Rewarding the good behavior for them not showing any interest in your plants will reinforce that as well. So just a mixture of being patient, keeping an eye out on your cat, rewarding their good behavior, and redirecting their attention when they show interest in your plants will all result in them just showing no interest in your plants eventually. Hopefully. That's the hope anyway, right? So that is my advice for that. I think a good piece of advice to have cats and plants coexist is also just having the plants be out of sight and out of mind. Just keep them up high. Maybe thinking about incorporating some hanging baskets. So take the plants that you already have, turn them into a hanging plant and hang them up high where your cat can't reach them anywhere. Maybe keep your plants on higher shelves where your cat won't be able to jump up to. It kind of deters the temptation if you have them up high and out of sight and out of mind. One tip that I have tried personally that's kind of given me a better gauge on how to move forward with a specific cat and their behavior around my plants is to take one of those cat-friendly plants that I mentioned and put it around your cat. Put it on the floor, put it nearby your cat, and just kind of pay attention and see how your cat does around them. I've done that personally to see if they're just gonna automatically chew on the plant or if they just don't show interest in the beginning, which is ideal. But that helps you gauge whether you need to be putting the plant up high, or maybe you can leave the plant in areas where your cat can have access to it, but you know that you can trust it to not do anything with it. So that's just one thing that has kind of helped me. The majority of my cats really couldn't care less about the plants, but much like the kittens, they still show interest once in a while, so I do have to keep an eye on them with plants that are a little bit lower to the ground where they can reach them. Those were just tips and tricks based on my own experience, but hopefully they helped you guys moving forward if you're wanting to get cats and plants in your own household. Let me know if I missed anything, or if you guys have any questions or even comments or advice that you guys can share. Go ahead and comment down below. I would love to hear or answer any questions you guys might have. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more plants and cats content. The next video I plan on doing will be a plant tour, and I have lots of plans to show you guys, so I am excited about it and I hope you guys will join me. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.